Hello, my dear Cancerians. Welcome to your reading with me, Cindy. Cancer, I have already pulled out a couple of cards here for you. You have Tome the Poet and Conclusion. This is interesting. This looks like you've written your last letter to someone, or that you've expressed yourself in some way, finally. Like, Tome has a very, poetic way of expressing himself, and you may have been, okay, when I say, you have either written a letter, your last letter to someone, or you have expressed yourself to someone in some way for the last time, you could actually literally still be interacting with this person. It's quite possible, but there's a level of whatever it is that you were trying to say or what you were trying to convey to someone, you're finished trying to do that. Like with this conclusion card, yeah, I don't know. This was one of those, I pulled these two cards out. I'm like, okay, what are we going to talk about? Because it literally looks like you have said the last thing that you wanted to say to someone. And yeah, I don't know. I go from there, but pull tarot, I guess. Now, I got a couple of messages with your underlying cards. So your underlying cards is Lays of the Shadows and the High Priestess of Spirit. This Lays of the Shadows is somebody who's done some inner soul work here, who's done shadow work. This is an energy. It literally is like a shadow work card. There's a lot of cards like it in the fairy deck. But that is literally like going into the shadows and doing the shadow work. This is also, okay, when you combine this with the High Priestess of Spirit, this is like a deep spiritual growth, development, transformation that has taken place for you in the past, right? In this past, I could be tapping on to the finalization of this from yesterday. It could still be really fresh in whatever the past is. But I also get another really interesting message with the combination of these two cards. I think somebody said a prayer for you. I literally believe that somebody said a prayer for you here with this High Priestess of Spirit and Lays of the Shadows. Because Lays of the Shadows also does talk about if there's somebody that we know needs help, that we can ask that person receive help. And we can do that in a spiritual sense. We can do that through prayer, or we can do that through, if you know there's someone near that person, you can say, hey, could you go check up on this person for me, make sure they're doing okay? Or does somebody, and because you got the High Priestess of Spirit, I really feel like somebody has said a prayer for you. I also feel like that there's somebody on the other side here who has been helping you through a shadow time, shadow work. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of nice to know, right? Maybe a lot of you might even be people, maybe you say a prayer for other people every once in a while, or maybe you do that on a regular basis. It's kind of nice to know that somebody has said a prayer for you here. Somebody has said a prayer for you, Cancer. You have number 7 and number 44. Those numbers could be significant. So I'm going to go into the tarot. It's such a final energy to me that I have pulled out for you here. Tome the Poet Conclusion. It's like whatever you were writing, that's finished. Maybe it could even be you could even be writing a book. You could have been working on some sort of creative project here. You've taken it as far as you're going to take it. If there's something too that you've been trying to understand in some sort of personal exploration here, you've kind of reached a point where there's nothing more that you can understand or know. Tome the Poet. The Hermit. Oh my God, there's a book. How crazy is that? There's the book. Okay, I'm going to take this also to maybe not such a dramatic finalization energy. Some of you might have been doing some reading here and you've run out of books to read. You're just like, I've run out of books to read, Cindy. But yeah, okay, for others it's a little bit more. This is really on your own here. This is like being on your own. I don't know, maybe you've even been reading poetry, or you've been writing, it just feels like I don't know, you've said your last words or something. You've said or read the last words. The Hermit. Oh my gosh, the 9 of Swords. This could be journaling. This could also be somebody who's been doing some type of journaling here. The Hierophant. And the Knight of Cups. Well, it's really interesting because Tome does talk about speaking from our heart. It's curious to go in the Nine of Swords into the Hierophant. It's almost like being, I don't know, having like something to do with tradition, obligation. Is it an obligation? An obligation of the heart. But your mind is like, don't do this, don't do this. It's the worst thing you could do. Don't do this, don't do this. It's the worst thing you could do. But then I feel like it is. It is like setting your heart free in some way. This doesn't have to be like when I say you may have written your last message to someone. It doesn't have to be a message that you even send. It could just be something that you've been writing. Like there's a really an interesting theme going on here. Because here we see this big book and it's got like straps on it. Or is that part of the binding? Or maybe it's part of the binding. But there's a really big book there. The Hermit has got all of these books. You could have been, I don't know, maybe you've been working on some self-help stuff in some way as well. You could have been learning something holistically here. You could have been studying. You've finished studying whatever you were doing. But there's, I don't know, a sense of, let me read the tome to you. Where did he go? It's clear sight, poetry, erotic energy, laughter, not getting into serious mischief. When Tome turns up in a reading, his presence suggests that youthful spirits and energy abound. This is the time to do exciting things and to tackle projects you've been wanting to do, but for which you perhaps felt you didn't have time or energy. It may even be the time to write about them, but you probably need to do them first. But it's weird. It's like, I don't know. I feel like you finished something. Tome often shows up in readings for people who have a talent and inclination for writing, poetry, adventure, fantasy, or anything else. Possibly the only thing he ever gets very serious about is his writing, and he will spend all the time he needs searching for just the right word. Speaking and writing and conviction and sincerity and the ability to persuade others are indicated by Tome's presence along with an outpouring of ideas. You may also find yourself thinking about romance and deciding that you want more of it in your life. This doesn't necessarily mean looking for someone new. It might well involve putting some romantic fizz into a relationship that has become overly routine. But that's, I don't know. It's just so weird with the conclusion card. So that, like, it just feels like to me, like when I said too, it's almost like you're not putting in the effort though, because you've finished doing something that you've been doing. You're not going to try anymore. You're not putting in any effort. You've said your last words. Tome the Poet. The Queen of Pentacles. See, this, I think this is relationship based. The Three of Cups. The Four of Wands. Oh, and the Ten of Swords. See? Okay. I'm feeling like here that you have been burned, or you felt burned. It's like you have nothing left to say. You have maybe, I want to say that some of you could have been journaling. You could have been journaling. You've finished your last page, which I would say might also have some connection here to do with a final step in healing. Yeah, I think there's a relationship here that has been very painful. There's a relationship here that's been very painful. And you're not putting any more in. The conclusion card. Oh my God. This is crazy. Look at that. Look at how she's writing and she's crunching up pages. Oh my God, that is insane. I don't know, this is almost like writing a farewell to someone. But right, even it says tone will make sure that it gets all the words just right. Spend a lot of time making sure the words are just right. And what is she doing? Like she's crunching up the paper. Also interesting because there's some sort of burning going on here. This is very specific, what I'm about to say. Now, it's not going to be for everybody, right? But it is the nuance of this energy where there's something that I feel like you have been going through, some sort of shadow work, or you've been going through some type of healing in a dark period here in your life. And it's almost like you've been journaling. You've been writing your thoughts. If these are thoughts that you feel that you couldn't send to someone else, or maybe this person isn't around for you to send those thoughts to them, you have been journaling all of this, and it's like you're almost like this is like a final purge. Like there's one last thing that you want to say, and then you've said it, excuse me, and you're burning it all. Like releasing it and letting it go. This is really interesting. I'm doing this. We're at a full moon period right now. I don't know what is the full moon in. Oh, here comes trouble. Oh, it's Aries. That's really interesting. The full moon in Aries. And speaking of which, there's an Aries right now. Hi, Larry. Yeah, come. And Cancer's like all finished. They're like all done with this. So cute. Were you outside? It's getting hot out, isn't it? Oh, shush up, baby. Oh, da, 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 da. Sometimes I feel like I'm looking a little human. Is there no human in there? Yes. An advanced soul. He's not more advanced than people. You more advanced than people? What's up there? What you looking at up there? I don't see anything. Do you see things? He's purring. You do? Okay. Bye-bye, baby. Bye-bye. It's nice to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Don't knock the pumpkins. You haven't paid any attention to the pumpkins for weeks. Ugh. Pumpkins might roll. Okay, the Knight of Swords. Oh, you know what's also interesting is the Knight of Swords is somebody who may not take a lot of time. That's funny, though. Even though she is crunching up the paper, the Knight of Swords is someone who may not take a lot of time. They're writing in jest. They're just writing. We're tome. Maybe, okay, this could also be, like, if you have been speaking to someone and you've been trying to watch your words, maybe you're not worried so much about that. And you're just being more open and not overanalyzing what it is that you say. Because that's interesting with the Knight of Swords. The picture is a little bit different from what the typical meaning of it is, but maybe it is. Maybe she's crunching up paper too soon. She is crunching up paper too soon. Because look at the fairy is like, no, that one. That one right there. The Knight of Swords. The King of Cups. The Nine of Pentacles. Wow, wow. And the Nine of Cups. Oh my gosh. Whatever this is, like if you said your final words about something here, you didn't hold back about how you felt, or you're writing something to tell someone how you feel. You're not holding back. You're maybe even, I don't know, this is almost like anticipating someone, like looking on the horizon. For Nine of Cups, your dream, your wish. Now, this could, I mean, we're talking about full moon energy. If this is an affirmation, it's the kind of thing that you probably want to do on a new moon, like to bring something new into your life. But maybe you're closing something off to do some type of little ceremony for yourself about opening like a new energy, a new possibility. This totally gives me the vibe of like sending a message or writing a letter and basically saying to someone what your deeper hidden feelings are here, and that you're available if they're available, and it would be like a dream come true to see them. Just like, that's it. But then that's it. I don't know. That seems like a very specific message. But it's conclusion. That's the end. Oh, the Three of Swords is at the bottom. See, oh God, the Queen of Cups and the Three of Swords is at the bottom. A lot of pain and anxiety. Look at how both, the way she's holding. And holding the letters. They're both holding letters. This is so crazy. It's almost like this feels like she received something. Are these two different people? What's going on with that? Queen of Cups, Three of Swords. This is openly, like this is open expression of emotion. Okay, so what's interesting with the King of Cups, it's almost like you're not expressing emotion anymore. I feel like you're finished expressing something here to somebody. What's the Nine of Swords? Let's see why you have the Nine of Swords. Why does Cancer have the Nine of Swords here with the Hermit? All those little voices inside their head. The King of Swords. The Chariot. The Two of Swords. This is trying to get your head right, to follow your emotions and trust your intuition. That's what that Nine of Swords is about. Trying to get your head right, follow your intuition, and trust your emotions. So perhaps this is something that you did, because that's kind of leading up to the other cards. You've trusted your feelings or your emotions here with something, and then, I don't know, it's almost too got the energy of like knocking a ball in somebody else's court and just leaving it at that. The Knight of Cups. The Knight of Wands. Interesting. The High Priestess. And the Three of Pentacles. It's interesting. The photo, I don't know, it's not very clear, but the photo here looks an awful lot like this woman. It could be like thinking about someone here. Now, others of you, I kind of feel like there's something that you have written and you've decided not to send it. And just writing it could be some sort of a healing process for you. I don't know. Nobody knows, Larry. You have to book a private reading. The Ten of Swords. Wow, the Five of Pentacles. Like, where do you go now? The Wheel. And the Seven of Pentacles. It's time for a new plan. Yeah, you're taking it's almost too like you are deciding not to keep doing what you've been doing and expect different results. In some way here, like maybe you feel that you have put too much of yourself into people and relationships. Feeling out in the cold. Or maybe feeling out in the cold from a relationship here and trying to be the one that mends it. But if you were doing that, you're not doing it anymore. How is this the Nine of Cups? The Moon. That's interesting. The King of Pentacles. And the Ten of Wands. What the fuck is that, the Nine of Cups? Maybe it's you thought it was the Nine of Cups. You thought someone was the Nine of Cups? But they're not. Like, that's carrying a heavy responsibility and burden here. I mean, unless this is someone that you see who is capable of doing that. Sun is at the bottom. The Eight of Wands. Ladies of the Shadows. Let's pull one card out for that. The Lovers. Wow. Jeez. Healing your divine path here. Okay, whoever, I don't know if there was something in the past here. If this is somebody that is working with you on the other side, like someone who has passed and is working to help guide you, help you through a difficult period. Also, there's, right, like somebody said a prayer for you. I feel like, so let me just ask that. Who said a prayer for Cancer? Is it connected to this Lovers card? Oh my God, the Sun. Yes. Who said that? Is there someone guiding you to the truth? Guiding you to happiness? The Strength card. It's all major arcana. I think heaven. I'm going to say, even if it's not a person, it could be someone with a Gemini Leo energy here. Gemini and Leo, very strong. Both of their cards, or two of Leos and one of Geminis is here. The Hanged Man, Pisces too. Maybe a whole bunch of people. Maybe a whole bunch of people have said a prayer for you. I'm going to go do the extended. In the extended Cancer, since you have a conclusion here, I'm going to see what is the next chapter. What is the next chapter? Or maybe book. Well, let's go by book. And there might be chapters in it, right? Because this is almost like closing off a series. Closing off a series. So I'm going to go into the extended and see what is the next book, volume that you are approaching here in life. There's two options in the description below if you'd like to follow me to the extended. Thank you so much, Cancer. Until next time, be gentle with yourselves. Bye.